voices shouting through the night. Static hum that shakes the ground. Riff Nation rising loud, profound. Feel the fire, feel the fight. We're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage. Unleash the fury, turn the page. Steel strings scream the truth we bring. Echoed chaos, hearts that sting. Electric veins that feed the roar. Harder, faster, crave for more. Dust and sparks ignite the air. Shattered silence, do we dare? Tidal force, relentless stream. We're the edge, we're the dream. Feel the fire, feel the fight. We're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage. Unleash the fury, turn the page. Riff Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain. We're the anthem in your veins. Feel the fire, feel the fight. We're the shadows in the night. Crashing waves, we take the stage. Unleash the fury, turn the page. Riff Nation, hold the line. In the chaos, we align. Through the storm, through the pain. We're the anthem in your veins.
The engine is self-starting.
For launch, GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
Go pending final steps to cabin link check.
2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the Riff Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, friends. Good evening. Come on in, everybody. Welcome to Mysteries Beyond the Scene. We are streaming live on the Rift Nation Network tonight for True Crime Wednesday. How's everybody doing? How's it? Hi, chat. How are you? Happy Wednesday. My name is Joni Skinner. I am your host every Wednesday at 8 p.m. when we combine astrology with true crime, mysteries, cold cases, homicides, and we delve into the case, current cases, cold cases, and we try to solve them. How's everybody doing? Welcome, chat. Please don't forget to hit the like button. Please share. We are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and for our podcast people, Spotify, Apple, for your listening pleasure. How are y'all? I hope you guys had a wonderful, wonderful St. Patrick's Day. As always, that's like a holiday in my house. You know, I grew up with that, with a 100% Irish grandmother. I know every single superstition. You know, the 3 knocks on the roof, somebody was going to die. You know, I'll have to show you. I'll take a picture of the McDermotts, which that's that side of the family for y'all next week. I'll put it in the slideshow because Grandma used to tell me that at a birth they would cry, and they would go to different homes for funerals, and they would prop the person up in their casket, and they would toast to them whiskey. But those are in the hollers of West Virginia. And she used to say they were from like that down in Point Pleasant, and she'd say, "Oh, the river rats down there," you know. But those are priceless. Those things are priceless. You know, no tools. You can't carry certain tools in the house. And she always could find a 4-leaf clover. I don't care where you are at in a patch of grass, she always would give me 4-leaf clovers. So, of course, all of the green comes out. My whole ancestor thing is filled with shiny shamrocks and green, and it's like a holiday. It's like Christmas. So that was my St. Patrick's Day, always honoring those ancestors. Got to, because great-grandpa McDermott would get mad. We don't want him mad. I hope y'all had fun, good time. I hope you guys are surviving this crazy weather too. You know, here we are. Spring is here. Our daffodils are out. And guess what? Now we have 20 freaking degrees. Everybody's sniffling again. The allergies are back. I'm done. Just done. I hope y'all are doing well. Let's say hello to the chat. Hello, Sir Ed Odell. How are you, Tips Top Hat? Hello, Miss Lee and Miss Cindy, of course, with her Monday night show on the Rift Nation Network at 9 p.m. We need that calming energy now. Hello, Miss Rhonda. How are you, sweetie? I hope you're doing well. Hi, Miss Kathy. How are you, hon? I know Texas is warm. I know y'all are warm. You're not getting 20 degrees. And our friends in Canada, how are you, Miss Denise? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing good, Lee. I'm doing really good. I have so much to share. Yeah, well, goodbye. We will get rid of little people like that we don't want ads, do we? Hello, Miss Lois. How are you, hon? Hi, Miss Peggy. How's New Orleans? Hello, Miss K. Hey, KL. How are you, honey? Thank you. I hope you're doing well, KL. We got to chat. It's hot. I know it's hot down there. Please blow some up here, Kathy. We need it. We need it. We need our 70-degree weather back. We need spring desperately. I have some stuff to show y'all. I hope Crystal and Miss Donna, where's Miss Giggles at? In Miss Donna, Miss Crystal, I hope, and Miss Lisa, I hope they all hop on the show tonight, because I'm going to share this with y'all before I get started on the show, because our show tonight, we talked about it last week, some of the breaking Epstein info that nobody seems to be talking about, with the guard, that information. And I've got the receipts on the guard this week, straight from the files, y'all. So I'm going to show those to you. And she is getting ready. I believe they have subpoenaed the guards to testify in front of the congressional hearing, the bipartisan congressional investigative committee that's done it. They've done an excellent job. They've gotten all of the estate information released. That's the committee that they did the subpoena. They did these the deposition on President Clinton, on Lex Wessner, Bill Barr, Mr. Epstein's accountant. Really, some good information is coming out of those committee hearings. Really, really good information. That's where I get all my info. I don't get it off of social media because it's fake. It's in somebody like me who's followed Epstein for decades. It's fake. You can't. That's not how our judicial system works. You cannot accuse people without due process. Period. End of it. So, it's starting to warm up in New Orleans. So, but I want to tell you guys what happened here last weekend. This weekend coming up. So I'm going to give you guys the whole situation that occurred here. And, because Sheila, Crystal, Lisa, and Donna, who's search and rescue down in Florida, but Crystal, Lisa, they tune in. They're from this area. We were on blast all night, Friday into Saturday night too, because we had what I discuss and go over every week with missing children, right? Happened here. 1 mile from my house. 1 mile. And I have never seen anything like this. And Donna even said it too. She was like, because she's search and rescue down in Florida. And, Tammy's search and rescue in Texas. And I hope Tammy can tune in and she can catch the show, because if you all witnessed what we saw this weekend, I really was speechless at what happened here. So let me show y'all what, we had a very sad ending. But let me show y'all what happened to us last Friday night. Okay. So, and I was watching TV, and this blasted on my phone, and it also came across my TV screen. So we had the KSP, would be Kentucky State Police, Ian Alert, which is an autistic child, missing juvenile, Jenny Dim, 9 years old, reported in Florence, Kentucky. She was wearing a mint-colored jacket, pink shirt, pink headphones, and no shoes. Maybe in danger or require assistance. So that blasted out everywhere in our area. So, of course, everybody sits up and they're like, and I think it was about 6. Wait, let me look at her chart. I think it was about, let me get her little chart out. Because if we did a chart, 5:30. But they didn't put this out for about 3 or 4 hours later, right? So this blasts out. So we're all going, what's going on? Florence, that's here. And here's our little angel, little Jenny. And she is nonverbal autistic, 9 years old. And we had those gusts of like 40 and 50 mile. We had a high wind warning Friday night. We had that and it was cold. It got cold when the wind was horrible, right? So 9 years old, here she is. So this is what happened. 4 choppers were out. 4. This is their pattern that they did. looking for this child, right? This is how quick they activated and acted. Kentucky State Police, Boone County Sheriff, Florence Police, they had, and if you look up at the top of that post, they are actively looking for little Jenny. Over 2,000 people are searching. Now, mind you, the city of Florence doesn't have that many, this is a suburb of Cincinnati, but we're in Kentucky. We're not in Ohio. Mind you, we don't have, this is rural, actually. It's pretty rural. So on Saturday, they had the command center, Northern Kentucky Command Center set up. This is where this is right before the searchers and people volunteering in the community started to show up. There were estimates between 800 to 2,000 people. And even on this post, it says, we're Florence strong. There are about 2,000 people looking for her. Friday night, flashlights were all over our yards. Everybody was going in their garages. It was like hands on deck. I've never seen a response from a community like this. I've never. And I've been doing this since the 80s. This is the Boone, and I'm going to tell you guys what our sheriff's department did. And I wish they should give classes on what to do. We were told online all night long what was going on, what was happening. They were transparent. They kept us, they told us everything. This is a list of the agencies that came to help us, right? Looking for this little girl. Tammy, this happened at my house, like about a mile away. And I'm talking about the response. Look at this, Tammy. This was Friday night, a little 9-year-old. That's the choppers they had up in the sky, Tammy, looking for this child. There were four of them. Over 2,000, estimates between 800 and 2,000 people showed up, volunteered to search. This is the community and the agencies that came over to the command center, which was the command center, y'all, was up at our swim club up the street. The command, they have a mobile command center. I had no idea we had that. Look at that. There's a command center. So we had Boone County, which is here. Look at this, Tammy. Look at this. We had, you got to remember, Ohio's across the river, Cincinnati. We had Hamilton County, which is Ohio, Cincinnati Search and Rescue, Cincinnati Fire Department. Look at these, Miami Township, that's in Cincinnati. We had the Water Department, Sanitation District was out looking for her. American Red Cross, FBI, Kentucky State Police, Campbell County Emergency Management, Boone County. We had Boone County Fiscal Court. We have that's judges. That's the courts. We also had Kroger donating food, water. They had restaurants were donating food to feed the searchers, right? This is all Friday. So what happened is, this is what they did. Listen to this, Tammy. My search and rescue people are going to love this. At the command center, which is right up the street at the pool, all volunteers must be assigned to a group led by law enforcement. So, in other words, law enforcement officers or a firefighter or an EMS professional took a group of like 20 volunteers with them. And they all split up and they all had communications with command center. So they finally had to turn people away because like I said, it was like 2,000 people. This is in my little area. So now Crystal sent me the chart about midnight, right? I didn't chart it because I thought, I watched this unfold. I've seen this long enough to know they're going to find her. there's too many people out there, and they called off the search, but they said, please don't go. You know, there were perimeters where people couldn't go, and they honored that because of the dogs and the scent. But the professionals stayed out all night. They did not go to bed, right? People, and then they resumed search again Saturday morning. So here, I did the chart. Okay. Now, I didn't want to do the chart because I knew they were going to find her, because all hands on deck like this. My thought was, why didn't they do this for Miss Guthrie? Why didn't they still have not done a huge search for Miss Guthrie? They have not done it yet. Well, unfortunately, we got word, I think about 7:00 at night. You know, she was nonverbal autistic, right? And we know that those children go toward water. Well, we've got a lot of water here. There's a golf course with a lot of lakes. Unfortunately, the divers, I think it was about 7, located little Jenny. And, you know, I looked at the chart. And I just said I don't like the chart. I said that to Crystal and to Lisa and to Donna. I said, you just don't like the chart, because, as you all know, the victim would be Leo. Look at that, 8th house. Look at that, Pisces. What's that mean? She's in water. So we knew she was in water. What was interesting about this chart, y'all, with baby Jenny, is the fact that, remember how I always say the 10th house is, if the 10th house is well aspect, they're going to find him. Uranus moves lightning speed. Uranus is up in the 10th house in the midheaven. So I knew, I mean, Taurus's woods, she was in the water with the sun, and the 8th house was unaliving. But, you know, I just didn't say, you know, I just kept it quiet, because I just, you know, it's a little child, and we were all hoping for the best, you know, and I didn't want to put any kind of vibes out there that were not negative, but kind of sad, right? Look at this, y'all. Here's where they found her. And I charted it. And it was right. Look at the mileage, is right, spot on. Now the mileage, the ascendant was 27 degrees. So I did 0.27. There's the wedge. In between that wedge is the lake. And that's exactly where they found her, at that line, at the circle line. And it was about a little over a quarter mile from her house, the purple arrow. But, and then, oh, where is this? There was okay, so as you can see, they had their social media going, and they even answered people on their social media. It's truly extraordinary how many volunteers have shown up, which speaks volumes to the character of our community. They were actually answering people on social media from the, I guess, apparently the command center. I could not believe how organized, how well put together this was. And I thought, wow, they need to teach how this. I was just, but I had to tell y'all, share this story. It's very, very sad. The community has really come together for this family. The family does not speak English. They're Japanese, I believe, Japanese, Chinese. So the aunt has been translating and sent really beautiful messages to the community, and they just could not believe the outpouring, which it really was phenomenal. I mean, wherever I went Saturday, people were asking, have they found Jenny? Anywhere you went, from Kroger to the gas station, people were looking everywhere. So, but I think, man, they could learn a lot from that. Have you ever seen anything like that, Tammy? I have never. Yeah, Tammy, look at that. Oh, my Lord, it's amazing. I was shocked. I might send him like a nice letter or something, because I think a lot of people think maybe that's how everybody operates. I think maybe people in the community think, wow, this is how it always works. No, it doesn't. Miss Guthrie, they've never even done an organized search. They did a search when she went missing, but they didn't do days and weeks of searching. As a matter of fact, somebody else went out searching for Miss Guthrie. They found pajamas, women's pajamas, close to her home. They don't know what that is, but hey, you don't know what you can find. They did move. Isn't that I'm very impressed. Fast wasn't the word. I'm sure they trained for this. I'm going to have to ask. I haven't either, Tammy. I have never seen an outpouring like that ever. I haven't either, and I've done this a lot of years. I'm going to have to ask my son-in-law if they train for this. I bet they do, because he's on the sheriff's department, and I have never seen anything like this in my life. I have never. It was crazy. So now let's get started on our story. I just wanted to share that with y'all, because we talk about this every Wednesday night. And, after we all found out what had happened, I thought, boy, I'm going to tell everybody about this, because I have never seen anything like this, ever. I mean, it could be a model. I don't know who organized or who's in charge of their, whatever they're called, emergency management, but all 3 counties of emergency management showed up to help everybody. And I think it was just wonderful. And there was a vigil. A vigil was done. I mean, the community really, it really makes you think, I'm so blessed to be here. So blessed. It was unbelievable. So, all right, let's get to our story that I had planned. When you're ready, Bullet is available to train. Yeah. See, Kathy, can you believe that? Had you had a response like that? It was wild. Okay, y'all, this is what I've got. I went through, and I have been seeing some weird posts on social media regarding some weird unaliving that people are connecting to Epstein, correct? Weird, not so much as they're just weird, kind of like how we connect things with Clintons. We don't really connect them, but people are like, gosh, a lot of people are around. You know what I mean? So here we are. This is a gal, and her name is, I'm going to mess up her name. She's a beautiful Russian model. Her name was Rusiana Korshanova. Rusiana Korshanova. She was a Russian model, right? And she unalived on June 28th, 2008. Okay. She fell or jumped from her 9th floor balcony of her apartment in New York City. Now, she was from Russia. She was a Vogue model, came up through the ranks, right? Beautiful young girl. Now, she was 20 years old at the time. Now, through emails and through the files being released, she was on the island in 2016. Okay. She was making plans at the time of her unaliving. She had just returned from Paris from a fashion show. She was making plans for her 21st birthday, upcoming birthday. Top of her game. Her mom doesn't believe it was an unaliving. She was a rising star in the fashion industry. Now, she rose to fame in 2006, discovered in 2003. She was in Vogue in 2006, right? We don't know what happened with her and him. We don't know how friendly they were. However, there's an email with his name on it that stated her boyfriend didn't get her the help that she needed. And that came from J.E. himself, right? That her boyfriend did not get her the help. Then her boyfriend had dropped her off that day. They had watched the movie Ghost. Okay. Movie Ghost, came back to the apartment, and 9 floors, she was jumped, apparently. Okay. Allegedly jumped, and it was ruled a suicide. She was fluent, brilliant girl, fluent in Russian, English, German. Okay. Left no note, no struggle. No struggle. In 2024, the documents revealed, right? They revealed that she had been down to Epstein Island 2 years prior to that. So she was 18 and a model. Remember, he used to use that with the modeling stuff, right? We don't know what happened. A little odd, right? And as you all know, and there's a picture, as you all know, on a chart, we see markers of an unaliving. Does it happen all the time? No. If it's not on a chart, does it mean that they didn't unalive? No, of course not. Usually the markers are Uranus or Pluto in the 8th or 12th house of the event chart, right? Of the event chart. This is her natal chart. Okay, so I used noon. So, of course, remember how when we know what happened, I look at the natal chart because of the fact we can kind of look and get an idea of maybe something that could have happened. We always know, I always look towards the lunar nodes that are triggered at an unaliving event on a natal chart. I always talk about that. You guys know I do, right? Look at this. Her sun, look in the pink up in the 10th house. That's her career. She was a model, top model. 10th house. The sun is sitting on her midheaven. She was just a star. I mean, she's already there, famous. If I would have looked at this chart when she was a little girl, I would have known it because the sun sitting on the midheaven is the public view, stardom. Now, remember, all of our politicians have 10th and 11th house packed. They're packed. Athletes have 5th house packed. 5th house. That's usually baseball players, athletes, professional athletes, car drivers. So I looked for Venus for her because Venus is beauty. It's fashion. So her Venus was in Taurus. Taurus is Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So she was a natural beauty. So that kind of gives me an idea of her, and it matches her. But let's take a look at her natal chart with the lunar nodes. Remember? So the north node is your destiny. It's your soul contract. It's what you incarnate to come here. Now, they tried to say that she had some mental issues. She did not do drugs. She was not known to do any drugs whatsoever. So mental issues, I would look towards Neptune, right? Neptune's in the 5th house. Now, the moon that night, her natal moon. I'm sorry, her natal moon. We're going to look to the natal moon is opposing Neptune. And so, okay, we look for the 6th, the body, day to day, the ascendant, which is the physical body, and the 12th house, which would be mental illness, correct? So look at this. The lunar nodes were triggered in the 12th and the 6th house. Her natal moon, which was in the 12th house, was opposing transit Neptune and Chiron. Chiron is the body. Chiron is healing. Chiron is the physical body. Can be wounds to the body. It's conjunct the South Node, right? South Node, that's by loss. So her moon emotionally, the emotional state was on steroids, correct? Because the moon rules her emotions. That's one thing I caught. Chiron, her natal Chiron, which is healing, deep healing, was opposing Pluto, right? Deep secrets, stuff coming up from the swamp. Chiron was in a square. Her natal Chiron, it was all Chiron too. Chiron, natal square to Uranus. Accidents. Now remember, accidents can be Uranus. Uranus was squaring Uranus. So if I just look at her natal chart, I would say, well, it was time. Sometimes the soul can get an opportunity to check out, and they do. So, but no Uranus in the 8th house, no Pluto in the 12th house, which is a marker for unaliving oneself. But again, that doesn't mean anything, right? Let's look at, wait a minute. Oh, whoops. Oops. Okay, let's take a look at the event chart. The event chart on the day that this actually occurred. She would be considered the victim, which is Libra, right? The pink, the blue over at the ascendant, the blue highlighter. She's up at the 10th house, which would be lots of public attention. In this event chart, her, which she is Venus up at the top in the 10th house, it's combust to the sun. What does that mean? Okay, that's like a Cassimi. It's with the sun, which means a victim could be impaired. They're not thinking straight. It's impossible to see anything. This is her event chart. 10th house, public recognition. Co-ruler, we always look to the moon in the 8th house. When the moon is in the 8th house, y'all, it's done. Pretty well done. Moon is the victim, co-ruler. Okay, the moon is in the 8th house. It's the ending. An ending. When the moon is in the 8th house, it means the transfer and the transition has occurred. It's deep emotional distress. Very vulnerable. So we're seeing markers here that are matching. Seriously, her event chart is matching her natal chart. Okay. The 6th house. That's her daily routine. Unexpected health episode. Disruption of routines. So the sun combust, high profile, found in a visible location, and it could be a possible public scandal. So feeling isolated, confinement. So taking a look at this one, and this is just my opinion only on this chart. This chart, it was either an accident or it was, to me, astrologically, to me, it was either an accident. With Uranus squaring Uranus on her natal chart, it could have been an accidental because she wasn't very aware of what was going on. Or she did it to herself. That's just my opinion. I don't see anything really nefarious in here. So if any of my astrologers in here see anything, please let me know. Let me know on this one. So I would count that one out, right? Here's our next person of interest. What do you think about now this story? Here we go, guys. This is a #1 bestseller. Wendy Lee, British author, right? Famous, #1 bestseller. She wrote biographies on David Bowie, Patrick Swayze, Princess Kelly, Grace Kelly, who was a Hollywood star. She then married a prince and became the Princess of Monaco. Marilyn Monroe, Jacqueline Kennedy, Arnold Schwarzenegger. She did a book on JFK Jr. And it was rumored, now I don't know if this is true or not, rumored that she was writing a book on guess who? J.E. Now, is that a social media rumor? Could be. Could be. I couldn't find where she was, but she lived a very private life. However, guess what she was up to? Now, you know, she was tied in with the old J.E. Ghislaine. She wouldn't be in this rumor mill if she wasn't. She had a love affair with Ghislaine Maxwell's father. She was his mistress, right? Apparently for a long time. Now, we know he unalived under suspicious. Could that have happened to her? Guess what, too, happened to her? Jumped off of her balcony. Seems like a lot of people are jumping off of their balconies, doesn't it? I don't know, jumping off her balcony. But now let's take a look at her chart. Now, I did not have a time when she was found. I had to use her natal chart because there was no time, no timestamp, no police timestamp, no nothing from her. But she had an affair with Ghislaine's father. Let's take a look at her natal chart, y'all. I mean, this was kind of a crazy one too. So we see, of course, she's a famous author, right? So of course I'm going to snoop at her chart and look up in the 11th house. It's all Virgo. Of course, she's an author. Virgo, up in her midheaven, Virgo. She's a writer. Virgo is a writer. Mercury rules Virgo. Look at that stellium up there. That's crazy. Scorpio rising. Where's her moon? Was in Scorpio. Now I guessed at noon, so I'm not sure about the rising, but look at that stellium up there with Virgo. Hard on herself. Now, look at this chart. Y'all want to see something funny about this chart? She is a Virgo moon, Virgo sun, Scorpio moon, rising Scorpio. She's an author, of course, articulate. Man, her north node was in Pisces. Her south node was in Virgo, right? So her south node, what she came here after past lives, was being too articulate, hard on herself, critical. That was what she came here to release and to find. Okay, for her north node, it was to release nitpicking, things like that, and to become more spiritual, learn spirituality, to have fun, to learn how to have fun. It was in the 5th house. She was supposed to come here. Can you imagine your soul contract is coming here to not be as articulate and to have freaking fun? Are you kidding me? That's what her that was, south, but she was supposed to that's what she came here to do, be spiritual, have fun, and let go of being so articulate in your head and critical of yourself. You know, a Virgo, they're more critical of themselves. They're perfect. They're actually perfect. But they're harder on themselves than anybody. They're the worst enemy. God love their hearts. Let's take a look at her natal chart and we see what happened here too, right? What do we look for, y'all? We look for the lunar nodes, correct? Her natal north node in Pisces, south node was in Virgo. The natal south node was conjunct. Wait, it was opposing, right? No, my bad. The transit south node was opposing her sun, her Saturn, and her Mercury. I mean, if somebody was having an astrological breakdown, this is what it would look like. Her north node was conjunct Chiron, another Chiron coming in. South node, Mercury, Saturn, and the sun were opposing Chiron. North node was conjunct the south node. So the transit nodes were hitting her nodes, lunar node, her natal north node and south node in her birth chart. That could be a real wake-up call. It could, if you're not aware of that, she's got the south node hitting her north node, transiting around her chart, right? So this is tough. This is tough. South node was conjunct the north node. Her MC, Sun, Mercury were squaring Saturn. Neptune was opposing Uranus. Again, we have a Uranus squaring Uranus. Black Moon Lilith was opposing Mars. And Jupiter was squaring Mars. Saturn was squaring her north node. All indication. But guess what we don't have? We don't have a marker for unaliving. We don't have Uranus in the 8th, and we don't have Pluto in the 12th to show an unaliving. We see accidents. Funny, guess what? Our model had a Uranus square Uranus. Wendy had a Uranus square Uranus as well. Okay? That's a little bit weird, isn't it? They both had that happening. One was in 2008. One was in 2016. So 8 years apart. But that would make sense because Uranus is on an 8-year, about a 7.5-year cycle. So that would be Uranus square Uranus. That could be an accident. Again, accidental. Shocking. She did not have any children. She never did become his full-time mistress, but they were tight. So that's Ghislaine Maxwell's father's mistress. So there are two people that are associated with him that both had Uranus square Uranus. Shocking, unexpected, could be an accident. Something moved very quickly with the both of them. This was very quick. And allegedly she jumped off of a balcony or fell off of a balcony as well. Maybe was pushed off. We don't know. Accident is accident. But boy, their charts, both of these girls' charts are just wild, y'all. I thought that was interesting now that we're looking at the Epstein stuff. And I've got some, here's our receipts on Epstein, correct? Remember, here's our guard that we talked about last week. This is the girl, the female guard. She's pointing to where he's at. Now, remember, they said that the cameras were all broken, didn't they? That's odd. Now, see that Kenyatta? That was on a piece of paper that was found in his cell. It's not his writing. but that was on a piece of paper. Keep that in mind, right? Keep that name in mind. Here is a copy of her searches before he was found. Well, this was in the files as well. At 4:31 a.m. on the morning that he unalived on August the 10th, she searched EPP. At 5:38, look at that name. She searched Kenyatta Taste. She searched it. That was in his room, right? Maybe it fell out of her pocket. Here we go again. 30 to 45 minutes before he was found, she Google searched latest on E in jail. 20 minutes later, she did it actually twice. Before he was found, she Google searched that. Law enforcement discounts. She did a law, and she was looking for furniture. Ashley's Furniture, Bronx, New York. Again, she was driving a Range Rover, about a $70,000 car. It was either 10 or 12 deposits were put into her bank account prior and then following the unaliving. That Chase Bank marked suspicious activity on them because there were high deposits made into her checking account. Those were made. So now here we go. She is allegedly the person that you see on the famous video that you only see half of the linens that go up the stairs. Don't know. Now remember, Epstein, before he was arrested, bought 2 ambulances. $100,000. He bought 2 ambulances. In his closet, there are first responder uniforms that say New York on them. Uniforms. Now, the guards are getting ready to, the guards are getting ready to be questioned under oath. Now, this is important. It's going to be under oath to the bipartisan committee. This is going to be bombshell. Can they take the 5th? Absolutely, they can take the 5th. When the police questioned her, she said she doesn't remember Googling latest on Ep in jail. Okay, but you did it twice. So I thought that was interesting. Interesting things are coming out of the files. What's funny is we're not hearing about this kind of stuff, are we? We're not hearing about this. We're going to have to take a new look at his chart because I use 630, but boy, oh boy, I'm going to go back to 431 and I'm going to go to 530 when she looked up the stuff on Google. I may have had the wrong timestamp on old Jeffy the whole time. I've told Keith, I don't know if he's dead. I don't know if he's unalived. It's iffy. There's a lot of secrets in that chart. And Kathy says there was a picture on the internet of him driving in England. Now, that absolutely would not surprise me in the least. He bought 2 ambulances. There's receipts for them. They had first responders uniforms in the closet that had New York City on them. So it's going to be interesting. Somebody made a statement, a whistleblower, that he had taken him out the night before. He had taken him out of the cell the night before. We don't know. This is still coming out. But isn't it funny that they're wasting all of their time on stuff that cannot be substantiated? However, the stuff that we can really get information on, they're not putting it out there. Isn't that funny? It's kind of odd. trying to say, look at this shiny object over here, when people that are digging are finding the really good stuff. Like, why would anybody in their right mind buy 2 fully operational ambulances? Why? You wouldn't. Why would you have first responder uniforms in your closet? Unless you knew you were going to get arrested and need to get an escape plan. And what I wanted to warn you about, y'all, remember we've talked about this with Neptune too. Neptune moving down into Aries, Saturn moving into Aries. It's going to be cloudy for a while, and not until after March 20th is when things are really going to start to come into the light. It's going to be more clarity and more clarity in Aries season in 2 days after the new moon tonight. Look at this. This was on. Be very, very careful what's on social media, right? Look at this. ABC issued a report that the FBI had warned California police departments that Iran was planning to launch drones into California. People were flipping out. People were flipping out. What ABC forgot to tell people, they got one email, unsubstantiated, unverified, that said that was going to happen. One single unverified report in ABC News put that out on the airwaves. So people were really in fear from California. They retracted it. But, did they come on and tell people about it? One single unverified report, somebody emailed it in, and they took it and ran with it. Now, I think that's awful, y'all. I think that's terrible to put that kind of panic out there. We had another story last week where people said 4 drones were stolen from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, right? Guess what? Those drones were missing back in November. Right? There's no threat to the population. They were camera drones. No threat whatsoever to the population for drones that went missing from Fort Campbell. Be very careful right now as to what's out there. Here are 2 circumstances that really scared people. And I don't think that's right that this stuff gets out in the media and it's unsubstantiated. So please, if you see things like that, check them and double check them. We just got to be careful till after the 20th, and it's clarity ahead, Aries. The minute the sun gets into Aries on the 20th, boom, the lights are coming on. I'm telling y'all. And it's going to get clearer and clearer and clearer. And it's going to pick up in speed by about 10-fold. So just be reminded of that. Don't burn yourself out and don't do too much, because you're going to have a lot of energy. Just be very careful of it. But that's coming on the 20th after the new moon. We're closing out this portion of our lives. We're hitting the new beginnings are coming up. What we didn't see 2 weeks ago, this new moon tonight is going to start to clarify everything. So get ready. Buckle up, friends. Here we go. I hope y'all enjoyed that. It's a little bit different, kind of keeping us up with the EP files. And Major General out in New Mexico with the UFO stuff, that's getting weirder and weirder by the freaking day, too. He left without his reading glasses. I have a new timestamp on Major General. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to redo his map. They found an Air Force t-shirt out in the desert. It's getting a little bit more traction on social media, which is good. Still, they have not located him. He left without his prescription glasses. But he also left, and what's missing out of the home is a backpack and a gun. It's a little weird, isn't it? So keep up with the general. And of course, we're going to keep up with Miss Guthrie. And I'll keep my eyes open on the Epstein files too. So I hope y'all enjoyed the show tonight. I kind of went through it pretty fast because we had so much to go through. But have a great week. I hope the weather gets warm. Thank you, Miss Kathy. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, here we go. Keith said there are 2 years of emails missing, like 99 to 21. Huh. They're out there. There's a lot of stuff. It's so difficult to put together anything. It's crazy. There's so much stuff. You know what he was weird about? He was constantly emailing himself. Just weird. He's somewhere, but definitely. Oh no, I don't think so either, hon. I don't think so either. But they're going to find stuff in New Mexico that you can be assured of. However, like we talked about last week in 2019, the Southern District of New York, that DA office, which was Jim Comey, director of the FBI, his daughter was down in that DA office, and they took away the investigation that the state of New Mexico was going to do on the ranch. 2019. Whatever happened to that investigation from the FBI and the DOJ? What happened there, y'all? So I look to New York. Comey's daughter. I know, lots of updates. Thanks you're welcome, Miss Denise. Have a great week, everyone. You too, hon. Everybody have a great week. Thanks a million for tuning in. I sure appreciate y'all for spending time with me, and we'll stay up with all this info that's breaking. We're going to have some more stuff breaking too. It's coming, y'all. It's especially with him. It's that ranch. It's always been the ranch. It's never been the island. It's always been the ranch. Always. Look at that. Check this out. Epstein had property in Mexico also. What it surprised me, he had it all over. Missing 2 years is Clinton and Lewinsky. That's interesting. Oh, hon, I'm so glad you tuned in. Good seeing you. I hope you're doing well, hon. Oh, hi, Michelle. How are you? We got some Canada stuff coming up, too. I'm going to look at Canada's chart this weekend and next because, that Aries is right on the ascendant. All that Aries energy is getting ready to hit y'all on the mood of the country. Lord, here comes Aries to Canada. Uh-oh. I wondered if it has to do with the royal family. Boy, they're nosediving too. It's crazy. It's just absolute craziness. We'll take a look at, I'm taking a look at Canada this weekend. So you guys have a great week. Enjoy the weather. I hope it gets warm. Thanks, Michelle. I hope you're doing well, hon. Thanks, you guys, so much for tuning in. Oh, the Aries is hidden. Oh, hell. Yes, it is. You can feel it. It's in the air. Phil Collins in the air tonight. It's coming. Here comes Aries. With this Aries energy coming, it's just going to be like, here goes the door. The door is just going to come crashing in. And I'm just picturing a ram just knocking down the door. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch. So have a great week, y'all. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great week. Have a great weekend, too. So I will see you guys next Wednesday for another episode. So have a great week. Good night.